is Charles Crabbe. I'm originally from Ghana, which is a small country located along the west coast of Africa. I graduated one of the best high schools in the country and decided to pursue further education abroad, which I believe I've done successfully. So I ask you, what do you see when you look at me? With your attention today, I'm going to discuss a few experiences that may help explain my identity and possibly inspire you towards personal success as yourself. Now that we have an understanding of why I stand before you today, let's delve into how things unfold. In Ghana, at least in my household, college was as natural a rite of passage as was birthdays. It was considered one of those normal life experiences that every growing child had to go through. I always had aspirations of becoming a neurosurgeon, so once I graduated high school, I began to look into avenues that promised such possible outcomes. And in fact, the United States was one of the first countries I looked at. My decision was largely influenced by the reputable job opportunities that an education in the United States provides, and also the excitement of just being able to study in a different environment. But if I can be honest with you for a quick second, being a teenager, having lived a sheltered life up until that point, I was quite thrilled about being thousands of miles away from any sort of parental supervision. So as it was, I got admission into Siena Heights, a small private university in Adrian, Michigan. The first few months there were great, and my academics were good until I started facing some challenges. There were times I was made fun of for my accent. I was ridiculed because of my origin, sometimes just because of my appearance. You know, the cultural difference was so vast that it made for challenging situations, especially in interactions and social settings. Now, while these are all legitimate concerns, foreign students normally, like I did, will adjust quickly or develop some type of coping mechanism to get past these minor setbacks. The real issue, however, didn't come along until about 3 semesters into my study at Siena Heights University. My mom, who was funding my education abroad, had suffered a brain hemorrhage, and after 5 surgeries, she was in a coma. It goes without saying how shaken I was, seeing as I had no family or dependable friends in the United States at the time. I lost all focus academically. It really affected my grades, and after a while I could not afford accommodation. It got to a point where sometimes food became a problem. I eventually had to drop out of school because my tuition went unpaid. Now at this point I was faced with a decision about the hardest I've ever had to make in my life. Do I go back home with dashed dreams, or should I somehow try to figure out a way to fight through this predicament? So I moved to Ohio, and since I stand in front of you today, it's quite obvious that I decided to stay and fight through it. I moved to Ohio with some friends, and in the meantime, I was doing some menial jobs in factories around the Columbus area. And in spite of all the challenges and difficulties I was going through, I tried to keep focus on the main reason why I came here in the first place, and I kept working through all the challenges and saving every little dollar I made so I could secure my own living space. With a vigorous pursuit of job search and looking for better opportunities, I eventually landed a job with the state of Ohio. Now that marked the end of what had seemed to be an unstable livelihood. I began to earn a steady income, and I continued to save as much as I possibly could. Eventually, I took advantage of the educational benefits that my job offered, and I enrolled in school again. I graduated last year, top of my class, with a degree in computer science, and I believe I made my mom proud. I can still imagine, I can still recollect the look on her face, the expression on her face when she first visited after her recovery. And to me, that was the final taste of success, the final taste of that satisfaction of having done a good job. Now, seeing the emergence of light at the end of this dark tunnel I had traveled, let me now explain how that translates into a new life. In retrospect, I really didn't do too badly after all. My overview on life had been changed, had been restructured by experiences I had to go through. These days, I place a great value on family and relationships because I know how it feels like to be alone in a strange land. So I'll ask you again, what do you see when you look at me? I see the personification of dedication and hard work and resilience, the testimony of a life that shows the results of hard work and wise decisions. Really, my takeaway, the biggest takeaway from this entire ordeal was the story. Now I feel like I have a personal, real life experience that I can share with not only my kids as an inspiration, but as many as can relate to. Thank you.